Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, once again here tonight to Virtual Racing Network. You're going to see some changes here from the studios. We are bringing back the old overlays due to some technical difficulties with the old ones. This, of course, means we have all of our good stuff back. The countdown to green, 4.5 minutes left on the clock. Of course, you're watching the Northwest Truck Series. This is the championship night here at Homestead-Miami, the final race of the 33-week season. It has been a long season, but we are definitely glad to be here. Kind of glad to be wrapping it up. It's been a long season. Everybody needs a break, but at the same time, we're glad to be here and putting on a good show for you. 14 drivers have made the trip to Homestead-Miami Speedway here tonight. Of course, the final four are going to be the ones that we're looking for, as we will go ahead and pull up your point standings onto the screen. It's going to be between Sean Breisman, Jeff Stabnow, Ryan Maines, and Ray Fournier. Kind of the underdog here tonight is Ray Fournier. We'll see, could he make it happen tonight and win the championship? Ryan Maines is going to be a competitor to deal with for sure. Jeff Stabnow, Sean Breisman been on dominating roles. Again, remember, all your point standings are presented by Sawblade.com. Run lean. Check them out at Sawblade.com for all your Sawblade needs. That being said, we'll leave that up there here for just a few more moments. I'm not sure if he is back or not, but we'll find out. Chris, you got a copy?
I'm here, ready to go.
All right, we do have Chris in the booth with us, not on the track here tonight. Obviously, not a whole lot to lose as it is the season finale race, but it's kind of tradition that we do when we have two people in the booth. We pick our choice for tonight's race win. So we'll let you go first, being the guest here. Who is your pick for tonight's race win?
Well, you know what, Charles? I think with the four contestants here, if you're talking about championship winner or just overall race winner, I think the Wicked Chassis trucks are going to be pretty dominant. They've been that way all season long. And, Jeff captured that championship in the Xfinity Series here recently, and I know he's gunning for that Truck Series championship. This is kind of like the golden ticket here for the Northwest Racing Series, and I think he's going for it. So I'm going to go ahead and select the 24 of Jeff Stabnow.
Well, I was considering picking him, but I think I'm going to pick the rival there on the team of Sean Breisman. It's a tough call. I really want to go with him or Ryan Maines. Obviously, I think Ray Fournier could be coming here and sneak something in, but I'm going to go... you know what? Actually, no, I'm changing mine. I'm going with Ryan Maines. I think he's got the stuff here to do it tonight. He's been fast on this new tire. And again, this is all knock on some wood. We don't have any issues with the server. The practice server, of course, did crash earlier, so we will knock on some wood that doesn't happen. But Ryan Maines for me, Jeff Stabnow for you. Either way, if one of them does or doesn't win, I expect to see some good racing from these guys here tonight. Especially, they know and we know it's the season finale, and they want to put on a good show for everybody.
Oh yeah, they certainly do. It's about time to wrap up this season. I'm sure these guys are looking forward to a break following this race. Yeah, but they got some unfinished business here tonight. And for a second there, I thought you were going to go with the 46, and it was going to be a battle of the Wicked Chassis trucks. But we got a couple guys here. Uncharacteristically, we got Ray Fournier up here, which is a good season he's put together, and Ryan Maines, of course, has put together a good season. And it's kind of uncharacteristic to not see. Who we all know, Mark Walls in the 48 Chevy Silverado. But I guess there's some things going on with him, and he's just not able to do it. But it's sure going to be a good race for these top four. We'll see who comes out on top.
Definitely will. I guess technically Mark Walls wins either way. He has a new baby there that he's having to take care of, so I guess he's got a little junior he can groom to be his predecessor, or whatever the word is. Anyway, to kind of take his spot, so I guess he kind of wins either way, but somebody's going to walk away a winner. Somebody's going to be a champion. Will they be the same person? We'll find out as qualifying is just about to start here in about 3 seconds or so as they get those last few seconds in, and we'll go ahead and bring up your main bar on to the top again. The Northwest Truck Series Championship race here live on the Virtual Racing Network. The new slash old overlays are back. I don't know what you want to call it, but either way, we have them back. So we have all of our good features back as the green flag is officially waving here for qualifying. And maybe you can shed some light on this, Chris. What are they waiting out there for? As we always see, 2 or 3 will come out, and then it'll be a long time before any more come out onto the track.
Honestly, Charles, I'm not really sure how to answer that. I think every driver just got their personal preference on when they like to come out. Mostly like myself, for example, sometimes I'll sit on pit road and just wait till the tail end. You kind of watch practice times and then you kind of see what drivers put up for their qualifying time and see if it kind of resembles the same time. See if they're running qualifying the same as they practiced, and it kind of gives me a better idea to see, okay, well, the track's probably kind of the same, so I might be able to go out and run and match my practice time or something like that. Or if I can think that I can push a little bit harder, at least I know what times I'm trying to push for because I can see them posted already. So I think it's more or less just driver preference.
Kind of fun that we were kind of figuring that, and I know Jeff said he likes to go out there depending on clouds rolling over, the track heating up, cooling down. So a lot of stuff factors in. We did find out earlier today fuel mileage somewhere, I believe they said 48 to 51 laps on fuel. Tires significantly less than that. Tires, depending on how you run, could be anywhere from 35 to 50. So it's going to be interesting to see how people play this. Is it going to be a tire strategy, or is it going to be a fuel strategy game here tonight? And with the championship on the line, you really have to pick the right strategy.
Oh yeah, you certainly do, and it's just you got to pick and choose. Tires are important, fuel's important. Obviously, you need them both to get through this race. And from experience back in the final race of the Xfinity Series, it wasn't a great run for me. And the reason is that right front tire, I was having some severe difficulties keeping that thing together. If I can go back and remember, I think the percentage-wise on the wear, on some of the longer runs, I think I was down into the 20% range. So that's some heavy wear on that right front tire, and you might see that again tonight.
It definitely is going to be wearing. We'll keep an eye on it throughout the night and see how it all goes, as we were watching a few times there coming in. And Ryan Main's the only one that has officially put in the time. I stand corrected. So does John Ottenbacher. But right now, 31.956 is the fastest time on the track. So we're going to be running roughly 2 laps a minute. So gonna be a little slower than last night's race. We're running 4 laps a minute. So of course it was a dirt track race, but still very fast times. I'm interested to see if some of these other chase contenders here can get by Ryan Main, seeing that he is at the top of the charts. That's a good place to be. Start. It's not so much the position now, it's that first pit stop. If you can get it, it's kind of like a golden egg there if you can hang on to it.
Well, in the world of racing, starting up front's always good. You're kind of ahead of the field, so you're ahead of anything that could initially maybe happen. But it's not really about where you start, it's where you finish. And I'm sure Ryan Maines has put some practice in for tonight. He's one of those top 4 running for this championship, so I'm thinking he's got something good for tonight, and he's going to give it all he got to try to hold off these other guys. Ray, Jeff, Sean. It's going to be a tough race, so we'll see how long he can manage to keep that front spot.
Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to see, is James Vining going to run a 32.311. So far, Ryan Maines is the only one that's ran a 31 second time. Not by much, but he did run it. I want to check in with Dan West Jr. He's out on the track in the number 55 machine. So he jumps to second with a 32.037. He's kind of deemed himself, I deemed him anyway, the Rocket Man Dan. He's had some really, really good runs and really good qualifying runs too on top of that. So if anybody can get him, I think it might be Dan.
I certainly would not bet against Dan at all. Dan is He's done a fantastic job in both the Xfinity Series. Looks like he's done pretty well over here. And just as we speak, it looks like he took it to the top right there with a 31.855 there. So he just took that top spot away from Ryan Maines. Dan is definitely showing some strong runs, some strength in both these series actually. And Rocket Man Dan really fits. He's got some good starting spots, numerous pole positions. He's putting together some winning runs, and I definitely expect and think that Dan in this offseason is going to regroup, and next year is going to be even bigger and better for him.
Yeah, I definitely would agree with that one. As when somebody, speaking of coming back, is coming back, hadn't seen him in quite a few races. That's Brett Johnson in the number 7 machine, as we refer to him as the Northwest Coca-Cola vending machine out on the track. We'll see what kind of time he can put in. He's up there with the Wicked Chassis boys. Not officially part of the team, but is kind of hanging in there with them. And he's fast in his own right, but you don't see him very often here lately, so I'll be interested to see what kind of time he can put in here, as he is on his official first lap right now.
Yeah, so far Dan holding that top spot, and these guys putting in some times. We'll see what happens. But again, just keep in mind the starting spot's not what really matters. It's where you finish. So I'm excited to get this race going. Where's the green flag?
That is true. As right about now we have 8 minutes left in qualifying. We still have a lot of time in qualifying. Then again, we still have a lot of drivers that haven't qualified. And most notably here, obviously Jeff Stabnow is out on the track at the moment, but Corey Armstrong, a brand new driver. You always want to see new fresh blood into the series at any night, and championship night or not, it's good to see him here. But this could get interesting because these guys may not know how he drives if they haven't raced with him before. And if you don't know how someone checks up in a corner, how they get around the track, when they're going to brake, that could be very scary for somebody battling for this championship if they're around him at that time.
Oh, certainly. And I apologize. I really haven't been too much of a factor in this series and following it too much this year. Most of these names I do recognize, and I'm familiar with. Some of these names I don't. Stephen Bartlett, Corey Armstrong. But as you said, you never really know. If you're not really used to running with these guys, you're not really sure what they're going to do. You're not sure if they would, be those drivers that would specifically show you respect if you're the leaders. If they're going to try to block, get in the way, But we'll find out. Hopefully, we see a clean race. And I'm watching the 24 right now. It looks like he's doing pretty well. He's up there, posted the second fastest lap with a 31.860, and I think I can almost see my face reflecting in that truck. He's got some pretty nice chrome there.
That is one shiny blue truck he's got there. Been playing with chrome just a little bit. Sorry, I got a little cough there. And just like that, apparently chrome does make you faster, as he's going to the top 31.670. We may have to pull him down here and get a quick word with him, as we still have 6.5 minutes. So go ahead and let me mute his mic real fast. I'm going to pull him down here. Just give me 1 second. Jeff Stabnow, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you, Charles. How you doing, buddy?
Well, we're doing good. Obviously, we have Chris here in the booth with us, helping out tonight as well. But we figured we'd pull you down here. You got a lot of stiff competition up at the front here. Yourself, Dan West Jr., Sean Brightsman, Ryan Maines, all in the front 4. 3 of the 4, of course, chase contenders here in the playoffs. So we got to ask, does it make you nervous knowing that everybody is compacted right there in the front?
If it's not here in the front now, it'll be here later. I know these are the guys I got to race tonight anyway, so we're just ready to race them. I figure it's going to be tight. I know Sean's got a lot of work in this week, so he's going to be bad fast.
Definitely going to be fast. We like to see good battles, and I think we're about to see one here between the chase drivers, and that's the best way to have it. Fight tooth and nail to the end here. So before we let you get any shout-outs and people you want to thank here for the season real fast, Chris, you got any questions for him?
Oh, sure. Hey, Jeff. First of all, just congratulations again on the Xfinity Series Championship. It's been a fantastic year on that side of things. You've had a fantastic year over here, it looks like. And so far, you're topping the charts here in qualifying, and it's going to be a tough race. But what do you think is going to be your biggest challenge in this one tonight?
Well, these trucks don't get off the corner like the Xfinity car is, so you really got a challenge here trying to save that tire and be smooth and not lose any momentum, or you just kill your lap time. I've really struggled with that on the new tire. I haven't really had a good race here on this new tire, so trying to keep this tire safe and not hit that big fall off cliff while being able to keep up these leaders is going to be a big challenge tonight for me. That's where I've struggled. Ryan Maines and Dan West have been pretty good at that.
All right, it looks like they advanced it a little bit early, I believe, here, so we're going to let you hop out of here. We'll get you out of here anyway. Any real fast shout-outs you want to give here before we let you go?
Yeah, I want to give a shout-out to Mr. Mark Walls, who came out of temporary semi-retirement here to man the pit box here today. Crew chief and spotter taking a little bit of time out of his busy schedule to help me out, so big shout out to him. Maverick has the ball.
All right, well, there you have it. We'll get Jeff back up to his team. So Mark Walls is here somehow. So that's definitely going to be interesting to see if he's a good crew chief. And hopefully we didn't lose Chris there.
Nope, I'm here. Good to go.
There we go. All right, we'll get down here if we could. I think we are on there. There we go. Now we're down on the grid. And, of course, as always, we would mention it. We're not even going to mention the potential sponsor opening. We may have a potential fill-in for that. But somebody's down on the line here just revving that engine up pretty good. We are just about set to go. So finally, after quite some time, we have a chance to go through the grid. So I'm going to quickly go through it here for us. As your Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm starting grid on row number 1 is going to be the 24 of Jeff Stabnow and the 55 of Dan West Jr. Row 2 is going to be the 46 of Sean Brightsman and the 13 of Ryan Maines. Row 3 is going to be the 58 of Stephen Paulson and the 7 of Brett Johnson. Row 4 is going to be the 333 of James Vining and the 89 of John Ottenbacher. Row 5 is going to be the 22 of Corey Armstrong, brand new driver here tonight. Alongside him is going to be one of your chase contenders, is the 26th of Ray Fournier. And row 6 is going to be the 11 of Frank Harris and the 91 of Scott Hutchinson. And rounding out the field here tonight in row 7, that is going to be the 77 of Tom Green and the 79 of Stephen Bartlett, another new driver with only his second start here in the series. Of course, that'll do it for your Walls Beard Co. Beard Balm starting grid. I am, again, expecting some really, really good racing here tonight for the championship night, with 3 of the 4 chase drivers all bunched up here in the top 5.
Oh, yeah, it's certainly going to be a fun one tonight. I can't wait for it to get started. We should be coming to the green flag here shortly. Jeff Stabnow out on the pole with that shiny chrome, blue, and silver looking truck. It's going to be a good one. Dan West Jr. on the outside front row.
Yeah, he's going to stab the gas, but not yet. Finally, holding him to the last minute here. And that almost allows Dan West Jr. in that 55 machine to get a really good run on him. Again, you have to do a perfect start, and Dan got a huge one there. And here comes already Sean Brightsman. I thought we were going to take a 3 wide in turn 1.
I was just watching that myself. The 46 of Sean Brightsman thought better of that. No need to cause all incidents at this early in the race, so he kind of backed off there a little bit. You got Jeff Stabnow out front, Dan West on the outside, Sean Brightsman in third, Ryan Maines in fourth. We got 3 of the championship 4 right there in the top 4. I don't believe the other championship guy out there, Ray Fournier, I don't think he took a qualifying lap.
I do believe you are correct on that, and it looks like the two new guys also, Corey Armstrong and Stephen Bartlett, did not start the race, so they didn't make the call here tonight, unfortunately. So they are not going to be starting. But Ray Fournier in the top 10 right now. He in the ninth position, so he's still in the top 10. He's gonna just kind of slowly work his way through this field, and you talk about not qualifying, maybe not some people may say anyway, not the brightest move, not the smartest move, but with 3 of the 4 chase guys up in the front, that could spell disaster because they're all going to be pushing it, especially towards the end. So if you just kind of hang midfield, you very well could walk away with the championship.
Yeah, you never know. You never know what to expect. Some guys like to just not qualify. They like to start in the back and just see what happens. They kind of ride it out for a while, for the first part of the race, first half of the race maybe. See what their truck's doing and make some changes along the way. And hopefully it gets better so they can move forward towards the end. And you never know when incidents are going to happen. So if you're in the back, it can either go one way or the other. You're either going to get caught up in it because you can't check up fast enough, or you're far enough back where you can avoid it and just save your stuff for the race. But we have Dan West now taking over the lead, and he's out front of that 24 truck.
Yeah, we were giving him grief his last time. He was in victory lane that he needed to go to tech to see if he had some nitrous in that engine. He is definitely fast, and he's not only got the lead, he's actually starting to pull away right now with a half a second lead, 0.500 seconds. It was a little bit higher, but now it's actually shrinking. So Jeff Stabnow maybe back on the hunt once again, but Jeff Stabnow really can't be worried about catching Dan West Jr. right now. He's got Sean, Ryan, and Steven all right on his heels, and it's not too far behind him. Then you start getting Brett Johnson and Ottenbacher and Harrison there as well.
Yeah, like Jeff was saying, he's still trying to get accustomed to this newer tire model. I think everybody is. This newer tire, since its release, has been kind of a struggle for some. Some are picking it up pretty good. Looks like Dan's getting the hang of it pretty quick. But there's a lot of wear. There's a lot of fall off with this tire. It takes a couple laps to get faster, I guess you could say. About 3-4 laps to get those tires built up. And then you're pretty quick. But those tires do fall off, especially that right front, and then you start slipping back.
Yeah, you definitely, you're going to slip back, but you want to limit that as much as possible. And that's what we get into. We were talking about the tire wear earlier, anywhere from 35 to 50 laps. It really depends on how hard you drive this car. And if you drive the wheels off it literally, you're not going to have anything left. So, me personally, I would rather kind of baby it a little bit, maybe hang around third, fourth. Especially on that last run. We know it's going to be a 2 or 3 pit stop night. So on that last pit stop, I'm going to kind of baby it there if I can, if I'm able to, and still keep up with the leader, and then let him wear them off, because you're going to wear those tires a lot more if you're having to play defense and block somebody as well as go fast.
Yeah, now, depending on cautions, the number of cautions we might see tonight, if any, you got to see how many laps you're going to have left at that last pit stop mark. You definitely don't want to burn up what you got left for that last run. You're going to want to save it a little bit so you have more at the end of the race. These, like I said before, these tires are so valuable to get you through this race, and you're going to have to take care of what you got if you're going to make this work tonight.
Yeah, you definitely have to, it's almost like tires, and more importantly, tires this day and age on this particular track and this tire model, they really are gold. They're a precious commodity. Luckily, you have as many changes as you need, but you don't have, you can't just go to the pits every time you want. You'd eventually go laps down. So you really have to be cautious of that. And it looks like here, just looking, Scott Hutchinson has retired it now about 4 laps ago or so. So we're down one more driver. But that's not changing anything out front. Sean Brightsman still running down Jeff Stabnow. But really right about the same, 0.5 is the gap between the first and second place car of West and Stabnow. So he's just a little bit faster, but I'm not seeing him really pull away.
Yeah, I kind of shifted further back in the field, kind of shined the spotlight a little bit on the 26 truck. Ray Fournier, he's just kind of minding his own business back here. He's moved his way up to the 9th position. Looks like he's following Frank Harris, just driving his race. And I got to throw a shout out to Ray there. He's been pretty solid all year, and he's found himself in that championship 4 after putting in some hard work. And he's been posting some things about his computer system and his upgrading and all that stuff. So looks like he's doing very good. Congratulations to Ray there for making the championship 4, and hopefully this race turns out good for him.
Yeah, and it was a close one for him making it. As last week we thought Frank Harris had it, and then of course the disappointing finish. Frank Harris having PC issues. And completed a half a lap. His steering wheel broke or went haywire on the back stretch of the track. He pulled it to the infield, or pulled it to the side of the grass, and went to the pits. It didn't bring out a caution, but he only completed that half a lap, so he didn't get credited with completing a lap, so he didn't get into the chase. Otherwise, he would be in here right now instead of Ray Fournier. And they're actually right here together as well, as Frank Harris is just one spot ahead of him.
Yeah, it's always unfortunate, actually, to run into some difficulties there, technical difficulties, what you may call it, with equipment's issues. Frank, with that said, Frank has done a fantastic job all year too. He's come a long way since he's joined this league. And as I'm speaking, it looks like we have a yellow flag. So let's go check that out.
We do indeed. And from the looks of it, it's going to be Brett Johnson in the number 7 machine. We'll take the replay camera back and take a look and see what happened. He's sitting here with John Ottenbacher.
Yeah, it looks like they're coming off of, I'd say, turn 4, and John Ottenbacher's right there on the lower side, and they're coming down the front stretch there. They crossed that start-finish line. Looks like the 7 of Brett Johnson kind of scraped the wall. John couldn't lift fast enough, kind of got into him, sent that 7 truck down into the grass going into turn 1.
It did indeed. All things considered, that could have been a lot worse, but does bring out caution number 1. As we're 16 laps in. I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I bet they're coming down pit road.
I would say that's a safe bet. Anytime a yellow flag comes out, they're going to definitely be coming to get tires and fuel and reset themselves and get ready for that green flag run again. So this is going to be exciting. We'll see what happens on pit road.
Yeah, you definitely don't want to make any mistakes on pit road. And, if we see people getting into the wall during practice earlier, I saw a lot of people spinning out. We're not seeing that here in the actual race. I think they're taking it just a little bit easier. But everybody coming down pit road, this is where you don't want to get caught speeding. Because if you do, you're coming down pit road during the green flag, and you will go a lap down.
In all likelihood, yeah, you would. You lose a lot of time when you create penalties for yourself, and and I'm pretty much known for that too. I tell myself, let's hit your marks, don't make penalties, and I find myself in that penalty column there quite a bit, and I've got to fix that up this next year. The 55 leads them down pit road there. You got the 24 and the 46 and the 13 following behind, and let's see if these guys can get in their pit box, get their 4 tires and fuel, and get off pit road with no issues.
I think they can, and I think you might be on replay because they are actually pulling out of the pits.
I might be a little bit behind you then.
Yeah, you might, if you went back and watched the replay, it might be on replay mode. But yeah, they made it out of the pits. Dan West Jr., still your race leader, under caution here for the first time tonight. Again, if you're just tuning in with us here, make sure you type in chat. Let us know where you're tuning in from, who you're rooting for here tonight. And, of course, you're watching all of it live here on virtualracingnetwork.net, the Northwest Truck Series Championship night. as we are not quite ready to go racing again, but we will be here shortly as the lights are now going off on the pace car.
All right, I think I'm back up to speed here. You were right. I was kind of a bit back there when I went back to watch the 7 truck and to see what happened there on the replay. But I'm back up here, and looks like we're getting ready to take the green flag again. We got the 55 and the 24 in the front row, and guess what? We got the 46, the 13, and that 26 of Ray Fournier is right there in row 3.
He is indeed. And again, I've done it. I've been in the replay mode many times before. And a caution will come out, and it'll be green for me again. And I don't know what's going on. Then I realize, oh, wait, I'm still in replay. So it happens to the best of us for sure. As, again, we're getting ready to get the green flag. Dan West Jr., Rocket Man Dan. You know, if you can go out with a bang and beat the championship guys and take it home, that's the way to do it right now. Is he actually has all 4 chase drivers right behind him. You have Dan West Jr., then you have Stabnell, Brighton, Maines, and Fournier, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. They are all stacked right behind Dan West Jr. as the pace car dives off, and Dan holding nothing back. He hits the gas, and off we go to the show one more time.
Yeah, wouldn't that be some way to cap the season off for Dan? He'd love nothing but to take this win away from these guys. And if that happens, if Dan comes out with the win, then the championship's going to fall back on one of these 4. The highest finisher in the race among the championship 4. That's how we would decide the champion. And but Dan is pulling away again. He's got a solid truck tonight. It looks like he's got what it takes to maybe find victory lane.
Yeah, I'm thinking he may be our victor here. Again, he's led so many laps before and came up just a little bit short, so fingers crossed that he can put it all together here tonight. I do want to point out that last week, here as we were talking about some stats earlier, I think prior to last race in the Xfinity Series, he had led 140 laps, and he led like 90-something that race. So he nearly led half of what he's led all season just in one race at the Xfinity race. So he has definitely made huge leaps and bounds forward in his progression, and he's showing it again here tonight. But I'm also watching this battle between the 46 and the 13 as they kind of get spread out now.
Yeah, Dan sure got a lot of knowledge. He's putting it to the test here in this virtual racing world stuff here, and he does a lot of racing, I think, in real life or whatnot. So he's pretty knowledgeable about how to make that thing work and stay up front and set the truck up, and he knows what changes to make, I believe, and he sure shows it week in and week out. He's starting up front consistently. He's running up front consistently now, and he's putting wins together. And I would not count him out any week in the season, and I think next year he's going to probably come back and be even stronger.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. He's going to come back stronger than he was this season, and he's already been pretty strong here in the second half. But the battle going on here between Stadnell, Braceman, and Maine, as they've kind of separated themselves from Ray Fournier. He's fallen back to 6th place now. But those 3 battling it out pretty hard, or at least they were. I don't know. Obviously, it'd be different for you. You haven't had any teammates in the series either, but maybe you've been around the garage talk here. How difficult it is, or is it to be racing for a championship against a teammate, though?
Yeah, ever since I've joined the Northwest Racing Series and have run with these guys in the Truck Series and the Xfinity Series, I've been running for myself with SimStar Motorsports, and I just kind of like that fact, that the fact of running my own team and being a part of that, and then when you win, it just feels that much greater. You get more of a sense of an accomplishment, I guess you could say. It wouldn't be a bad thing to have teammates, certainly not. You would have that advantage somewhat, and I think that's what Wicked Chassis has is a good advantage, because they've got not just one head thinking of what to do. They've got 4 of them, with Jeff, Sean, John, and I'm drawing a blank here. But anyway, having teammates, it really helps, because you can knock your heads together, share information, and figured things out. Jeff. How could I leave Jeff out? um, but yeah, teammates really help. But when it comes down to a championship, I don't think you're really helping each other. You're trying to drive this race, and you're trying to get the win for yourself. So I think it's going to come down if Jeff and Sean were out front, they might put the bumper to each other. This championship means a lot, so they're going to do what they got to do to get that win.
Yeah, and two, I can't remember if he had this paint job last week, but coming out for a championship night, or the last two races anyway, Sean's bringing out a new paint job, so maybe he's thinking we'll change it up. It'll give him some good luck. I don't know. But either way, they are right there. I mean, Brightsman is just all over the pack bumper of Stadnell right now. And again, if these 2-3 get collected, that is good news for Ray Fournier, who is hanging into 6th place right now. And I hate to stick on these guys as much as we do, but again, when you're 1, 2, and 3, and you can throw a blanket over all 3 of them, and they're in the chase, you almost have to stick with them here because you don't want to miss anything that could possibly happen.
Yeah, you're exactly right. They are nose to tail, so close that if one of them makes some slight mistake, it might take all 3 of them out. Let's hope that doesn't happen, though. But they're all running strong, and Ray Fournier is the 4th of the championship 4, and it looks like he's still kind of minding his own business back there. He's running in the 6th position, pretty strong run, just playing it out. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, he's definitely, 6th place. I'm not counting him out. I think he's just kind of holding his own, biding his time back there, and that is a perfectly good strategy to do. Sean Brightsman almost scraping the outside wall there. I'm curious as we're sitting here. Let's go to the roll bar camera, and let's go on a board here with Sean Brightsman and kind of see what it's like here. He's not fighting this car the truck too much. It looks like he looks fairly comfortable there. Maybe he has a really good setup under him here.
Yeah, unfortunately, I can't really see that roll bar camera as you probably can. But I can say something about the view. The view is a fantastic view. It gives the viewers a good look and feel for what it's like for these guys inside the trucks going around this track. Homestead-Miami is a fun track to run. It's really hard on the tires, and it's really interesting when you go into these corners. And if you're on that roll bar camera and you see how these trucks angle and how much they angle when you go into these corners, it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it definitely is very interesting as he looks to get by Jeff Stadnell. I stand corrected. Stadnell on the outside as we switch over to him. And we're actually going to go off the on board here. And we'll go back to our main camera. But, what a battle going on. Those two teammates, again, side by side. And Ryan Main's trying to figure out which line he wants to take to get by both of them. Again, this is when mistakes can happen. You slide up too much. You get into somebody, and you end up collecting several people. Good news is you have one fast repair. So, you have that kind of lifeline, but do you really want to use it this early in the race? My guess is probably not.
No, you're right. The fast repair is there if you need it. Any damage you get, if you scrape the wall ever so slightly, once you make a pit stop, if that fast repair is checked, it's going to be burnt. It's going to be used. You kind of want you want that as a reserve in case something happens. But the sooner you use it, the sooner it's gone, and then you got to baby it the rest of the race, because if something else happens, you're kind of out of luck at that point.
Yeah, you do not want to be out of luck here, especially this race. If I believe, yes, 150 laps is what's on the books, and we very well could go into overtime here tonight as well. So if we go into overtime and you don't have that fast repair, cautions breed cautions. So you add that extra 3 to 5 laps to the race. That tends to be when people start beating and banging the most, because they're trying to get every position they can.
Yep, they certainly are. And Dan West is still running way out front there. Well, the 46 finally made a move and got past the 24, taking over the second place position there. And we're starting to see some gapping open up there between second, third, and fourth.
There we are indeed. And Dan West Jr. was about 0.5 seconds ahead. He's actually moved that to .53 to .54. And actually, I say that Sean Brightsman cuts it down to .483. So Sean Brightsman, well, it took him a while to get around Ryan Maines and Jeff Stabnow. Once he did, he is starting to close that gap between him and the leader. So Dan's fast, but Sean may be just a little bit faster. Just had to get around a couple of cars to get there.
Yeah, you never know what's going to happen in a run. Sean is one of those drivers where he just might run in the back a little bit and not push it too hard. And as the race goes on, he finds ways to make his way forward. And he's showing that here tonight. He's certainly closing in and showing that he might actually have the better truck. And but we'll just have to see how the race goes. These tires wear differently per driver. Everybody's got their own driving style. Some people burn up these tires faster. Some people know how to save it. And as Sean closes in, we got Jeff hanging there a little bit there. The 13 of Ryan Maines is kind of falling back a little bit. So we're kind of seeing the fall off, I guess you could say. And well, I guess we'll see what they can do to manage.
Yeah, and this is where you see quite often they start getting the fall off, which you think that's going to bring out a caution. These guys are having all this fall off, but it doesn't necessarily mean we're going to start seeing the cautions. We very well could, as they're going to have less grip on these tires. However, when they start getting more worn like that, your speed goes down as well. We ran just that lap right there. The fastest was a 31.922 for Dan West Jr. He just ran a 32.6. So he's nearly a second slower than he was on his fastest lap. So, that slower speeds is going to help you just a little bit with these worn out tires. Now, the question is, will Sean Brightsman be able to do anything with Dan West Jr. once he catches him here, probably within the next lap or two?
Yeah, Sean's going to work it. He's going to find a way to make his move. Right now, it looks like he's just kind of staking out the 55, looking high, looking low. And as soon as he finds that opening, he's going to shoot for it. He's going to go. He's going to get it. It looks like the 46 has a little bit better truck on this run, and he's right there on the bumper of the 55 going into turn 3.
He is right there with him trying to make a move. And, you've got to make it cleanly. So I think he's got a faster truck here, maybe just a little bit. We'll see. That last lap by just now, 32.578 for Dan West Jr., 32.637 for Sean Brightsman. So on that last lap, he was technically a little faster than West Jr., but look at the time, 32.556 for Jeff Stabnow. On that last lap, he was actually faster than both the trucks in front of him.
Yeah, and when you see these guys running hard like the 46 and the 55 are doing, 55 is trying to run his line, and he's got a mirror full of that 46 of Sean Brightsman. And when these guys are running and battling for position, you might see that they actually are running a little bit slower. With Jeff back there in third place, he's running by himself, just running his own line. You can tend to see that he's going to run a little bit faster as he closes in. Same thing when trucks are side by side. You're going to find out that the guys behind you are going to close in on you as you're battling.
Yeah, and that's you never want to see the truck behind you closing in, especially not when it's for as much as on the line as is here tonight. But these times are just steadily getting slower and slower here. We were talking about 32.5s earlier. I say earlier about 2 or 3 laps ago. Now we're talking 32.7s. Just within 2 to 3 laps, we have lost about 0.2, maybe 0.3 on our times already. So there is some serious fall off, and we're only 25 laps into this stint here. Again, we heard 35 to 50 is what it is. Can you imagine what the fall off and how slow these trucks will be going here if we run a 50 lap run?
Oh, I couldn't imagine. Like I could go back to the Xfinity race the other night. I was running, that right front tire was just running off. It was fast in the first few laps, but like I said, I was finding that right front tire down in the 20% range, and at that point I was running so slow, it was so difficult to turn the car through the corners. It was extremely tight, and I could imagine that these drivers tonight in these trucks are going to face the same issue you're not going to see these trucks likely loosen up as the run goes by. The fall off on these tires is going to cause these trucks to tighten up severely. And just as you said, we were seeing Jeff run 32.5s as he was kind of closing in on the front two, and now he's into the 32.8, 32.9 range. So he's definitely slowing down like the rest of these guys.
Yeah, he is definitely feeling the burden of these worn out tires. When we get to, assuming we stay green anyway, if we start getting to lap 40, lap 45, I have a feeling that we're really going to see who's used and abused their tires and who's kind of babied it. And, you look back to someone like Ray Fournier, who's currently dropped back to 10th place. But running 33-second times, he very well could just be kind of saving those tires just a little bit to make a big run later on. And this is the time right now you really want to experiment. You don't want to do it in that last run. You want to do it right about now, as we still have roughly 104 laps to go.
Yeah. With Ray's instance, you're kind of he's just kind of running his race. He's kind of figuring out what's working, what's not working, and he's certainly in the 33.6 second laps. The thing he's got to watch out for is the fact that he's going to be so far back. These leaders are going to be so far out in front of him, and if we stay green, this is where the problem is going to come in. He's not going to be able to find a way to catch back up. You're not going to make up this track time on pit road. If this race were to stay green to the end, he's going to need cautions, maybe a couple of them, to keep himself caught up to those leaders.
Yeah, definitely agree with that. Last thing you want to do is go a lap down. Again, as we run right now, just to go ahead and pull up your top 5 here on to the screen. It is Dan West Jr., Sean Brightsman, Jeff Stabnell, Ryan Maines, and Stephen Paulson. As you see the gaps on the screen here, 0.133 separating your front two. And then from first to third, you have nearly a 2-second gap and nearly a 9-second gap from first to fourth of Ryan Maines. So the gap to fourth and fifth place, 8 seconds, as we actually have a pass for fourth place.
Yeah, I'm watching those gaps right now myself, and we're pretty spaced out. We got the top 3, like you said, within 2 seconds of each other, and then it's a pretty huge gap back there to Stephen Paulson in the 4th position. But if you look back further to the 26, like we were just speaking about, Ray Fournier's back there running his race. He's doing everything he can, but he is, in fact, the last truck on the lead lap right now. And the last thing he would want to do is to fall a lap down, because that's going to make it 10 times harder for him to find a way to get back up there.
Yeah, you definitely do not want to go that lap down. We talking about again, and lap down. You go one lap down. It's really not I mean, it is bad, but it's not a nail in the coffin. Your season's done. Your race is done. Most of the time, anyway. However, at the rate we're going with only one caution, so we'll pull up that caution information real fast here. One caution for 3 laps, and if we don't see any more cautions come out, then that it kind of could be that last nail in the coffin.
You're in fact right about that. Like I was saying, if he doesn't see cautions, he's going to need these cautions to help him out. But again, like you said, it's not necessarily the nail in the coffin. If he gets a caution, if he goes a lap down and a caution comes out, as long as he maintains that first position 1 lap down, he would be granted that free pass lap. That would help him get back on the lead lap. But he's definitely a ways back. It looks like he's about 19 seconds or so behind the lead, and that's quite a ways. He's got some ground to make up.
Definitely does indeed. And we're going ahead and pulling down the running order here on the left side of your screen, so you can see everybody here. The 22 of Corey Armstrong name is not showing up because he did not complete a lap at any time here in the session. But obviously, for anyone that's new around racing, DNS obviously did not start. Scott Hutchinson out of the race. Brett Johnson 1 lap down. And that gap to the lead, that was about .133 was the lowest I saw it. Now .366. So Dan West Jr. starting to pull away once again from Sean Brightsman.
Yes, indeed he is. He's holding his line. He's running his race. He's just doing the best he can to hang on to that top spot. And we might be coming to a point where the 46 is starting to experience some changes with that truck where he's not able to, have that grip that he needs to keep up there with the 55. And the gap looks like it's opening up slowly but surely.
It is indeed. It's slowly opening up. And right now, just to read, we were talking about 32.5 second lap times. 3 laps later, we were talking about 32.7s and 8s. Now add another about 10 to 12 laps on there. At 38 laps into this run, and we're running 33 3s and 33 4s. So in this run so far, we have nearly dropped 2 seconds off our time, or these drivers have anyway, off their times. That is a huge fall off, probably one of the biggest we've seen all season.
Yeah, that is a drastic fall off, and I can highly bet that it probably has a lot to do with that right front tire. As I keep saying, when I experienced in the Xfinity race, that right front tire was a disaster. I have not spent as much time as these guys, in all honesty, running this new tire model. I got a lot to learn and to work on before the next season starts, so that we know what we're working with and how we can better our races and get these better finishes. Because this new tire model is really throwing a curveball in it, and it's pretty difficult. But the tire wear is very drastic.
Definitely. One of the most drastic tire models I have seen here. They definitely swung for the fences, and I'm not sure they knew what fence they were going for, but they went for the fences and they made it somewhere. So, love it or hate it, it is what we have. And whether it's good, bad, ugly, whatever you think about it, everybody's on the exact same thing, and that's what makes it fair. So, it's unfortunate if it isn't to your liking, but at the same time, like I said, everyone's on a level playing field when it comes to tires out here, and you really just have to kind of cope with what you have and overcome it.
Yeah. In all reality, you got what you got, and you just got to work with it. You just got to figure out what's going to work best for you. And I think iRacing is definitely moving in the right direction. This is such a great way for people to get out there and enjoy racing and do something they love to do. And especially for those, like myself and many else I could probably speak for that can't afford to race in real life, this is an excellent way to make racing more affordable. And everybody's going to have their nitpick, things with this service. And, as they develop and come out with new things, you just have to learn and adapt and practice and see how you can develop as a driver and utilize what they're putting out for us to use. And I can say, honestly, I don't really like the tire right now, but I've only won one race with it, and I'm sure it'll grow on me as time goes. But certainly iRacing, I think, is moving in the right direction.
Yeah, I definitely agree. They're going in the right direction. And it's a great alternative for some of these guys. And I believe Dale Jr. just said it's best that there are drivers, I think it's Dale Jr., I don't know, maybe it's someone else, but there are actually drivers on iRacing that, probably could, if they had the money or had the opportunity, take it to a little bit higher level and get into a potential semi-pro or, a professional racing series. They just haven't been seen or don't have the money to go buy, a $200,000-$300,000 race car.
Oh yeah. Racing in real life certainly is not cheap. It's very expensive to fund a race car and a race team, and Just to skip off of this topic real quick, I just want to let you know that it looks like pit stops are being made under the green flag here. The 26 has already completed a pit stop and is actually 2 laps down at this point. I think I just saw the 46 hit pit road as well.
He did. 89 of John Ottenbacher's on pit road. Breitzman as well as Stabnow coming down. And Breitzman going to bring it to a stop. We'll jump over to Jeff Stabnow. We can catch him there. Yes, he's also underway getting his pit stop done. Again, this is where it's crucial. You don't want to make a mistake on pit road. As it looks like the 46 is off and away. And it looks like the 24 as well. Obviously, can't get caught really speeding on pit road when you're spot number 1 and 2. So those 2 drivers off and away. Dan West Jr., though, staying out. 46 laps completed on this stint. So obviously, I expect to see him coming down soon, and I think he's slowing down to do so.
Yeah, it's in his best interest right now as he does come down pit road. He does not want to be out on the track with those old tires. These guys, as Sean Breitzman does pass, it looks like Sean Breitzman's getting his lap back there. But Dan West made the right move right there. He stayed out on the racetrack. He's going to lose so much time if he kept staying out there. Sean Breitzman's going to gain so much ground on it, and I wouldn't bet that Sean actually comes out with the lead since Dan did stay out an extra lap or so.
Yeah, you couldn't stay out. You're talking, like we said, 2 seconds slower on those older tires. So staying out there that extra lap very well could cost him the lead here. The question is does he have a fast enough truck to get back to the race lead? Well, that's a question that we'll have to answer. And speaking of staying out on the track extra laps, the 13 of Ryan Maines, one of our playoff drivers here, 48 laps is what he's completed on this stint, and he is not showing any signs of coming down pit road anytime soon.
That is definitely a long stint on these tires. I'm surprised they're holding up for him. He's going to have to hit pit road soon, or he's really going to lose a lot of track position. But as I'm speaking, looks like Sean Breitzman, with the amount of time that the 55 stayed out on that track with older tires, Sean Breitzman has done past him and has literally got nearly an entire straightaway lead over him. And you can see that's how much fresher tires can help you versus the older tires.
Yeah, it definitely is. The plus side to Dan West Jr. staying out a little bit longer is, of course, later on in the run, you will have a little bit more speed, but staying out that little bit longer, is it really worth maybe 2/10, 3/10? That's one of them questions that's kind of a loaded question, really. If you're 17 seconds behind the guy you're chasing and you're gaining, 2-3 a lap, and you're only got 10-12 laps left, probably not. If you can manage it to where you're maybe a second and a half behind with gaining 3/10 a lap, it might be worth it then. So it really is a tough question to answer until we get to the final stage of this race.
Yeah, we'll just have to see how this one plays out. In my general opinion, staying out like that is never a good thing, but it's not kind of a win-win, I guess you could say, because when you're the leader, you're going to have to expect that these guys behind you are going to dump pit road. They're going to dump down on the pit road. They're going to try to get that fresh tire, get the fuel, and they're doing it with the intention of gaining time on the track while you're staying out there on older tires. So it's kind of a disadvantage sometimes to be out in the lead, because these guys are going to start hitting pit road behind you, and then you're going to lose time. And now Dan is paying the price. He's going to have to play some catch up here, as he went from leading this race to nearly 5 seconds behind Sean Breitzman, who is now our leader.
Yeah, he is well behind him. 4.666 seconds behind is what he is. Right behind him, Jeff Stabnow by 1.9 seconds. So what started out to be a huge bunch of cars together that were in the chase, Breitzman, Stabnow, Fournier, all these guys that were right there together, Maines, not so much anymore. They've all kind of spread out on the track. They're not that tight group that they were. But as they run, Sean Brightsman would be the 2019-2020 champion.
That is correct, and I'm sure Sean would hope that it ends that way. But right now he's holding on to that 4.5 second lead. It looks like he's got a strong truck, and now that they've made their pit stops and the 46 is out that far, Dan's going to have to give it more. He's going to have to push more to try to regain that time. And as you do so, you're burning up your truck. You're just gonna see that fall off come faster. And I think Dan is in a much harsher situation at this point. And he's going to probably regret staying out there and wish he would have came down sooner. But we got Sean leading the race, Dan running second, Jeff Stabnow in third. And our other, let's see, Ray Fournier, where's he at? He's back there in, looks like 6th place. Last truck on the lead lap.
He is indeed in the 6th place. Well, anybody's game here tonight, or anybody has a shot to get it, I think. I'm not counting anyone out. We are, however, coming up here there's lap 71 completed. We are 3 laps, technically 4 if you want to count it, completed away from the halfway point of this race. There's no halfway caution or anything like that, but we always say once we get to the halfway point, the laps start ticking away even faster, it seems like, as we currently have 79 to go. We've already completed 71 laps in roughly about, I would say, 48 minutes or so. We are ticking away laps very quickly.
Oh, we certainly are, and the reason behind that is these laps that we're taking away have been green flag racing. When you stay green flag, these races go by pretty quick. If those of you watching, we've only had one caution early in the race, which involved the 7 and the 89. A quick caution there early on, and we've been green ever since. So these laps keep on ticking, and as they keep on ticking, the pressure is going to start building up on those that are chasing that 46 truck. Jeff Stabnow on the 24. He's running 3rd place right now, roughly about 6 seconds or so behind the leader. He knows he's got a championship on the line, so he's going to have to figure something out to get back up there.
Yeah, and you've always heard that saying. I'm sure you've heard it. I'm sure the fans out there watching have heard it. Cautions breed cautions. I am starting to kind of change my mentality about cautions breed cautions. I think I'm going to start using the phrase late race cautions breed cautions. You see early cautions in the race, and they don't just multiply like a little rabbit out there on the track. However, you get in those last 30, 40 laps of a race, that's when those cautions seem to breed more cautions.
Certainly. And it also depends too. It depends on who you're racing with. Like we said earlier before the race started, we got 2 guys, Stephen Bartlett and Corey Armstrong. It appears they didn't start this race. We were kind of questioning whether or not that would be a factor. Unfortunately, they didn't make it in, and we didn't have to worry about them. So all the guys actually racing know each other. So everybody knows how to race against each other. And when these cautions, breed cautions, if you have more trucks or more cars on the track, I think that's more likely to happen. But like you said, in the last few races, the intensity, everybody's adrenaline's going, and everybody wants to win the race. So people push harder, make mistakes, cautions breed cautions. But hopefully we don't see that tonight. Hopefully we see this go green and play out, under the green flag.
And speaking of, the green flag in racing, Ray Fournier, right now at the moment ahead of Ryan Maines. He's in the 6th position, but look who's behind him at the moment. That is Sean Brightsman, your race leader. He's about to lap 2 of the 4 chase drivers here in the playoffs, as there's one of them, Ray Fournier, lap down. So who saw this coming earlier? The 13 of Ryan Maines, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. We'll check real fast here. Yes, started 4th. And he's been up in the top, and here he is, 6th place, about to go a lap down to Sean Brightsman. So Sean Brightsman's got to be grinning from ear to ear right now.
Yeah, Sean Brightsman's leading this race. Certainly he's got a strong truck. He's doing some damage here to these Championship 4 contenders. The 26 is now a lap down. The 13's in jeopardy. And, maybe some of these guys like the 26 and 13, maybe they didn't put, the needed practice in leading up to this race. Ryan Maines did qualify fourth. He had a good qualifying run, but maybe it wasn't set up to run the long run. These tires wear so fast and changes happen so drastically that it may be hard to keep up with. And if you don't know how to set these trucks up and adjust, you just might have a rough night. And you can see these guys trailing pretty significantly.
Yeah, they definitely are. Somehow Ryan Maines is able to hang on. He hasn't fallen behind him yet to go a lap down. And two, I don't know if I want to chalk that up to Ryan Maines having a decent truck. I think he's got a fairly fast truck. He qualified fourth. But also you have to be the devil's advocate here, per se, and say Sean Brightsman maybe not pushing that truck as hard as he could to try to get by the 13. If he's somewhat fast and it's going to take a lot of tire to get to get by the 13, you're right there with him. He's obviously not a threat. Why chase him down? Why not just kind of let him go and stay in front of you? Don't lap him. Again, he's not a threat out on the track right now.
No, he's not a threat, that's for sure. He's out there in front of him. There's no really need, I would say, to push the issue to try to get around him. Because even at this point, if he gets around him, puts him a lap down, let's say a caution comes out, then Ryan Maine gets that free pass, gets back on the lead lap, and is back up there. So there's no need to put yourself in that position. You want to save your fast repair. You don't want to even cause any kind of an instance where you might have to use that fast repair. Sean looks like he has a strong truck. There's no need to do it. But it looks like we're coming down to maybe a battle of the Wicked Chassis teammates with the 46 of Sean and the 24 of Jeff Stabnow. Jeff's still about 6 seconds back there. But while I'm speaking here, after that pit stop, Dan West Jr. By staying out there fell about 5 seconds back, but he's within 2 seconds now of Sean, so maybe he's gaining some ground here.
Yeah, he is definitely pushing it to get up there. And I just said the 13's not a threat to the 46 right now to get by, but he may not be a threat. However, he could be an obstacle if he hangs behind him too long, as the 55 Dan West Jr. going to start closing in on him. So at some point you have to decide, am I going to let the 55 keep reeling me in, or am I going to try to get by the 13 of Ryan Maines and get back up to full speed again?
Well, if the 13 is getting in the way of the 46, where it's allowing the 55 to gain ground, I think Sean's going to put a little bit more pressure on to make that move and get around the 13. I don't think he's going to sit there and let that 13 hold him up if that's the case. But the 55 of Dan West is kind of steadily holding that 2-second gap, so I don't think it's putting too much pressure on the 46 at this point.
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think it is. So we'll be interesting. We're going to go back up to Sean Brightsman and watch that battle for just a little bit. Again, we get into this rule over and over again about the gentleman's rule, about passing a lap car or potentially going a lap down. This is probably the oddest case, weirdest case you could come up with right here. He's not a lap down in the 13 of Ryan Maines. The rule is, hey, the leader's coming. It's kind of a gentleman's rule. Race him how you want to be raced. Do you let him by? Whatever. But at the same time, it's two playoff drivers. So, which rule applies here? Is it, hey, I'm a playoff driver, I'm going to race you till the very bitter end? Or is it the leader kind of has the gentleman's rule? Which one is it in this case here?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you for sure, but 46 is taking that low line right now to pass that 13 truck. Sean would like to put him a lap down, being that he's a championship 4 contender. That just provides a little bit more security for the 46. He's pushing. The 55 of Dan West Jr. is looks like he's closed a little bit. He's about 1.7 tenths of a second back, and Sean Brightsman on the 46 has cleared the 13.
He has indeed, and that 0.3 of a second there. That could have been that triggering moment for the 46 Sean Brightsman. Okay, enough of this. I got to go. And he put his mind to it, and he got by fairly quickly. And just by watching these last probably 10 laps with the 13 and the 46, that was a calculated move to get around him. You know, it wasn't, oh, he found a, burst of speed and got by him. Because he stayed behind him for probably about 8 to 10 laps. So you know that he didn't just, find speed. He calculated that at the perfect time to get around him.
Well, I'm looking at Jeff Stabnow. Jeff Stabnow seems to be struggling. He's about 7.3 seconds back. If he wants that championship, which I know he does, he's going to have to find a way to make some adjustments on the next pit stop to get back up there. Maybe he can do something what Sean Breitzman did, maybe hit pit road a little bit sooner, get those tires, fuel, and then find a way to gain some track position and get back up there. Laps are winding down. We're about to take lap 90 here, so he's got to start hustling.
Yeah, 62 laps to go as we run right now. Again, it's going to be, like you said, a tough one. If you want to get to the front, you're going to have to kind of short pit on these guys. Obviously, it worked out good for Sean. And if this is a 2 pit stop race, which it looks like it's going to be, 2 pit stop race, 3 technically with that one under caution, but this could be the final pit stop of the race, so you've got to be very careful getting on and off of pit road, no mistakes made, and you have got to plan it perfectly if you're the 24 Stabnow.
Oh, certainly. This late in the race, you do not want to be the one to make mistakes. Mistakes will definitely hurt you as these laps are running green, so there's going to be less and less time to make up if you make a mistake, and I'm known for that. I've watched some good races and some good battles from making mistakes, and they're hard to avoid. When you're pushing 10 times harder to get back up there, you're more prone to make mistakes. But we'll be seeing these pit stops under the green flag again, I would think, here shortly.
Yeah, I'm definitely agreeing with you there. It will not be long before we do. We're 29 laps, we'll say 30 laps into this stint. So I would think here in the next probably 10 to 15 laps, maybe less for some of these guys, we're going to see them come down at pit road. So if you do the math, we know they can make it about 50 laps. We have 59 to go. So if you come in here in, say, 12 laps, that'd put you at 42. You could short pit it and still make it on fuel. However, do you really want that much older tires than everybody else? It really is a toss-up here tonight.
I'm going to play it safe if it was me and bet that they would take 4 tires and a full tank of gas. I don't think short pitting would be in question whatsoever based on the way these tires wear and fall off. I think that would end up hurting you in the long run. But you never know. When you're in a last-ditch effort to try to make something work, that could be an option, and we might see it happen. But we'll see.
Yeah, well, definitely will. If I'm Jeff Stabnow, I want to short pit, but I don't want to short pit a lot. Maybe a lap. I doubt 2 laps, but at least a lap. And he has the advantage, too, because he's up there or behind these guys a little ways, so he can see on his relative if they're coming down pit road. And if he sees them not coming down pit road, he can duck down. On the flip side of that, if he sees them coming down, he's far enough behind too that he could go ahead and duck down the same time as them. So, he's a long ways back here. But still, I think he's in a good spot.
Well, I'd say that, him being nearly 9 seconds behind the leader, if he's seen the leaders pit, staying out, as we saw with the 55, would probably hurt him even more. He would go from probably 9 seconds back to maybe, 10, 11 seconds after it cycled through. I think if he took pit road right now and maybe short pitted, he might gain some of that 9 seconds back. But if Sean and Dan and those guys take 4 tires and fuel, they're going to come back out with a full steam ahead, and that short pitting is going to turn around and bite Jeff, I think. So I think when we see Jeff pit, he's probably just going to go with the 4 tires and fuel, and then try to continue to give it all he's got.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. Is looking here just to let everyone know, you can see it up on the top of your screen, but we're going to go ahead and bring it down on the side of your screen as well. You look here, only the top 4 drivers are on the lead lap right now. Everyone else is at least a lap down. So Ryan Maines as well as Ray Fournier in the playoffs. They are currently 1 and 2 laps down. Steven Paulson, 25 seconds off the lead. The good news is for these drivers here, Jeff Stabnow, if you make a mistake on pit road or anything like that, there's only 3-4 cars on the lead lap, so you're not going to lose a whole lot of position. So that's good news for him. You're going to go back to about 5th place or so, maybe 6th or 7th if we get any waiver rounds. But you definitely, you've got to have a clean stop, and it needs to be perfectly timed.
It certainly does. Like I said before, you don't want to make any mistakes at this point in the race. It'd be just too tragic, I guess you could say. And but I do want to note that Dan West is still running second. He's running just a tick over 2 seconds behind Sean Brightsman. Now we might see when these green flag stops come up here, Dan might do what Sean did. He may hit pit road, and if he does, that means Sean's staying out a little bit longer. Dan might be able to recapture the lead that way, so we'll see.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see, as again, we're lap 37 right now is what we completed on this stint. And, I'm really surprised, to be honest, based on what we saw in practice earlier tonight. We saw trucks losing the rear end of the truck. They were spinning out. They were wrecking. We haven't seen that in the race itself. It goes to show you, just in an hour of practice or less, how much they can tune on these trucks and get them in a working order.
Yeah, that looseness, as soon as you pull off pit road and before the tires have a chance to build up, you will see that these trucks are very loose. I've tested it a little bit, very little, and I know that I get that truck off of pit road, get up to speed on the backstretch, and if you try to go in hard into the corner, the back end's going to come around. These tires need about 2 to 3 laps to build up, and then you can really start to push. The trucks get fast, and then shortly after that, you start to see them fall off. They start to get tight. That tire wear starts to take over, and then you just start having to fight the wheel to get through the corners, and that's what I was doing in the Xfinity race, and it was just a struggle. Sean seems to be doing what he needs to do at this point, and it looks like we got a change in the running order here. Sean's still out front with Jeff second, Dan in third. Did we get some trucks hitting pit road?
We did. Dan West Jr. pitting already. He is down on the pit road. He's going to take 4 tires and fuel in the number 55 machine. He is off and away with a actually slow time there, 27.7 seconds on pit road. A little bit of a stop there. Not sure what happened, but he is back out on the racing surface now. And that leaves Sean Brightsman, the one out there that's running an extra lap now.
Wow, so you know what? I think I kind of called it there. I kind of thought that Dan would hit pit road there, but that extra time on pit road, typically a pit stop would take roughly, 13, 14 seconds, give or take. And if he was on there for that long, that's kind of double the pit road, or the pit time. So I'm not really sure what's going to happen here as the 46 does dive off of the racing surface and hits pit road to come down and get his service. We'll see where the 55 can manage to get to. Looks like Jeff Stabnow is still out on the racetrack himself. So here's the 46 on pit road.
And we're showing Jeff on pit road. He's leaving pit road right now. Ooh, and he goes to the grass too.
Oh, gotcha. Yep, I got him here. He's on the access road, making his way around, and he's going to rejoin the racing surface here. And as soon as pit stops cycle through, we'll see where everybody falls into place here. Looks like Dan West Jr. just passed the 24 truck, so wait for this to cycle through.
We will indeed, as we'll go to your current leader, the 58 of Steven Paulson. But again, the one we want to see is the 46 of Sean Brightsman. He is back on a track at the moment, and he's still ahead of Dan West Jr. So I think that a little bit extra time on pit road may have done him in. And unfortunately, if we stay green, that's probably going to be the last stop, as we only have 46 laps to go.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. That extra time on pit road, for whatever reason that was, may have cost Dan the win. It looks like the 46, with such a strong truck tonight, has managed to maintain what would probably be the lead once these cycle through. And it might be too much for Dan to catch up. So I'm not sure what happened on pit road there, but that's unfortunate.
The only thing I can see is possibly speeding on the pit road. Maybe had a penalty, but that's a weird time, 27. So we'll just have to clarify, as it looks like John Ottenbacher is going to come down pit road in the 89 machine. A few drivers that have not come down. Technically, a majority of the field has not come down yet. As Steven Paulson, still your race leader. Sean Brightsman already up to second place, though. Ryan Maines is in third, but he has not pitted. He's got 40 laps on his tires right now.
As you can see, he's out there. He's just running his race. He's doing the best he can. He's about 13 and a half seconds behind the race lead. If he's got that many laps on his tires, he's just losing track time to those guys that got fresh tires. He's going to have to hit pit road soon. And unfortunately, he'll probably go a lap down or two again. And but you can't count him out. Anybody's still in it. It's not over till the checkered flag waves. And even in the end, even Ray and Ryan making the championship four, it's been a fantastic year. So props to them for giving it what they got. And we'll see how it ends here.
Yeah, that's all you can do is give it 110% every time you get behind the wheel. And they've done that here tonight. As it looks like Frank Harris is going to come down pit road. Stephen Paulson going to come down. That's going to give the lead back to Sean Brightsman. And now he has about an 8-second gap. Actually, more than that, an 11-second gap over Dan West Jr. So I think Dan played it right. He came in, just one lap sooner than Sean, but that extra time was detrimental on the track. As that was, again, about 15 seconds or so that Sean was able to run around this track at full speed that he definitely needed.
Yeah, again, that's unfortunate. We'll have to maybe later in the race, if he gets a podium spot, we'll maybe have to find out what happened there. Looks like we've got 5 trucks right now on the lead lap with Stephen Paulson. Looks like he's the last one on the lead. Well, unfortunately not. He just went a lap down. So we got 4 trucks on the lead lap. 2 of the Wicked Chassis trucks in the championship 4. Ryan Maines in the championship 4, and Dan West Jr. all in the top 4. Jeff's still got some work to do. These laps are ticking down fast, and he's just a little over 13, about 13 seconds back. I don't know what you think. What do you think? You think he's got something for the 46?
I honestly am not 100% sold that he does, but I'm not sold that he doesn't either. So I think we're going to have to just, cross our fingers and hope for him that he does. We right now have 40 laps to go. I talked about it a couple of weeks ago. Coming to a race, those first half of the race, it's like going to Disney World. You're like, are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there? And it seems like they drag on forever. Then you get on the downhill on the way to the end of the race in the second half, and it's more like that drive home. You're like, are we there? And there before you can finish the set and the race is over, you're at home. So it just seems to be the way it goes. So, you've got to be minding your P's and Q's, and if you've got something, you really need to start going now.
You do. You can't be holding back at this point. With the laps winding down so fast and the green flags keep ticking by. Jeff is probably, I would guess, if I was in his driver's seat, I'd be praying for a yellow flag at this point. Get 4 tires, fuel, freshen up, make some adjustments if needed, and then get this thing bunched back up so you can give it another shot. The 46 been strong. He's been strong since he was able to take that lead from Dan. All in all, by hitting pit road prior to the 55, and that's really what got him out front, and he's really been out front ever since.
Yeah, that was you have in all sports the play of the game or the move of the race. I think that would be it. Him coming down that 1 lap early, it was probably the move of this race that propelled him to the front. However, like you said, if we have a caution, that could change things up because Dan West Jr. is in second place. And he would come in right behind Sean Brightsman. And, depending on how many laps we had to go, maybe a two-tire stop might be in something, just to try and throw something off, get out there faster. So you never know. You don't have a championship on the line. It's just for the win. You might see some crazy stuff trying out there.
Oh, yeah. It would definitely be an exciting thing if we saw a yellow and got these guys bunched up. We've got 3 trucks at this point on the lead lap, with Sean leading the race, Dan following in second, Jeff in third. Right now, Stephen Paulson is the first truck a lap down. He would be the one that would get the free wave around with the caution. And, yeah, it would definitely be a battle. Sean and Jeff, man, I kind of would like to see a yellow just to see what would happen. But, I was going to tell you, Charles, let's not tell Jeff I picked him. I don't want to be blamed later on for this one. But overall, he's had a great season nonetheless. But I know he's been dying to get one of these Truck Series championships.
He definitely has. He'd probably be more mad that I didn't pick him than you did. So.
Well, initially you were going for the 46, which looks like that might be the winner, and he kind of steered away and took the 13, but no harm done.
That is true, and I've apparently jinxed him. He went a lap down, so apparently our pick's not doing it here tonight. Sean Brightsman, however, is doing it. Dan West has cut that 11-second gap to 7 seconds. So he is closing away slowly but surely, but I just don't know if he's got enough in there. And, even if he has enough to catch him, does he have enough to pass him when he gets there? Knowing that we have 34 laps to go, we're not going to be coming down pit road again. I think, and we'll knock on some wood here, we don't jinx anyone. I don't think the battle's going to be between Sean Brightsman and Dan West. I think here, possibly, we may see a battle between Dan West and Jeff Stabnow. Those two are only about a second apart from each other.
Yes, indeed they are. Dan West is out in front of Jeff, and Jeff he's right there. You got John Altenbacher in between them. I don't think John's going to be the driver to get in the way of them. I think he'll just let his teammate Jeff go and see Jeff try to chase down the 55. But as far as the 55 getting up there, or anybody getting up there with the 46, I just think they're too far back at this point with the laps ticking down as fast as they are. They don't have enough time. These guys are going to need a caution flag to bunch it back up, regroup, and then they'd have a shot. But we got to see that yellow flag for that to happen.
Yeah, and I'm beginning to wonder if the flagman got mad at that caution earlier and decided to throw the yellow flag out the window. And it is somewhere laying on the ground because he has not waved it at all. Then again, he hasn't had a reason to either. So obviously, you're not going to throw a caution if one's not needed. But so far, I would fairly venture to guess that this race, I'm going to say clean and green. We did have that caution, but for 3 laps. But other than that, caution free. So I'm going to pretty much declare this race a green flag race all the way.
Yeah, pretty much. Why not? Excuse me, got choked up there. But yeah, it's been green flag. It's been good. And it's these cautions. When you got more trucks and stuff out there, you tend to see more cautions. But these guys are just they're good at what they do. They try to drive their line, keep it clean, give some room for the leaders. There's a lot of respect with these guys out here, and we're watching it. That's the reason for green flag racing. Everybody knows what they're doing. They're just being courteous and. Unfortunately, it's not playing out the way Jeff was hoping it would, or Dan. Dan is closing a little bit. He's up to about 6.7 seconds. He's closing in a little bit, but again, we're closing in real fast. The laps, I think we're under 30 laps now, is it?
29 laps to go right now. Oh, and
yeah, Dan's really got to start pushing. If he really wants it, he's going to have to start pushing, same as Jeff.
He is indeed, and we were talking about Jeff and Stan, or Jeff and Dan being fairly close together. We haven't had a chance to go to this view yet, but we'll go ahead and go to it. Of course, a brand new sponsor coming on aboard here tonight. Of course, all your aerial coverage for tonight's race is provided by All American Pools. So obviously, check them out here in Texas. But this showing the gap there between Dan West Jr. and Jeff Stabnow, as it's less than a straightaway separating those two right now. As those palm trees kind of look like brown picket fence as they come flying by them. But, Jeff Stabnow, the back end of that truck really starting to kick out. And we almost had a caution as Jeff Stabnow kicked the rear end of that truck way out coming around the corner.
Well, you must know what that means. He's really, really, really wheeling that truck around the track. He's trying to give it all he's got. And that's how that back end's probably getting loose there. He's trying to push and push and push. He knows his time's running out for this championship. He really wants it. But these laps are just ticking by too fast. I'm not sure what he's got. He's got to do something. Like you said, there's not going to be any more pit stops. If there was, I think Dan would have probably came down soon and tried to regroup, redo what he was trying to do the first time. But unfortunately, we probably won't have another pit stop unless we see a yellow flag.
Yeah, I don't think we will. I honestly don't think we're going to see the caution here tonight. It has been a good race. As much as you'd like to see the caution to regroup, this right here, this race has been how the majority of the races have gone this season, clean and green. So what better way to wrap up the season here than finish with nearly a caution-free race at Homestead-Miami. I mean, you can't ask for much better. Sean Brightsman looking to be the champion here tonight. Obviously, kind of bittersweet for Jeff Stabnow.
Yeah, I think this is it's gonna bite Jeff pretty hard. He's really wanting this championship. I think Sean, I believe Sean has a championship in this series, if I'm not correct. Please correct me. I'm not 100% sure, but I think he does. Mark's got a few championships. But Jeff is really wanting to join his teammate. And the 24 is getting real loose there. Wow.
It's, that is a wonder right there that he did not get collective at the 89. Probably the biggest factor in that right now is the fact that those two are on the same radio communications, and he was able to let him know instantly he was getting loose. Had it not, we may have had that caution.
Yeah, it was a pretty close one. Just as I was speaking there, I could see that truck getting so wicked loose. No pun intended with wicked chassis racing, but man, is that 24 truck loose coming off the corners. You can tell Jeff, I bet he's driving with everything he's got. He's probably sweating bullets in that truck. He knows this championship's going to run out on him if he doesn't do something soon.
Yeah, and that cost him time towards Dan West. So right now, not a whole lot going on with 23 laps to go. They are super spread out. A caution desperately needed here for a lot of drivers, other than, of course, Sean Brightsman. And he said earlier when I talked to him, I was talking to him about what he thinks he needed. And he said...
and there goes the 24. The 24 spins around, noses it right into the front stretch wall. Are we going to see a yellow flag? He's in the grass. He's off the racing surface.
And
no he's got smoke coming out the back end. No yellow flag. Wow.
Below the white line, no caution going to be coming out. That is unfortunate for Jeff Stabnow. Obviously, that right there is going to end his hopes of a championship. He's still hanging on to third place just because everybody else was a lap down. But his night, unfortunately, it's not completely over, but I think his championship hope, just like that engine, just went up in smoke.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you there. He was really fighting that truck very hard his last few laps. You can see him getting loose, and he's spinning it out again. He's trying to get on pit road, but now he's going to come to a stop on the track, and there is the yellow flag. Here we go. We're going to have a restart. I think he still has I think he's still got his fast repair he could use, but we'll see what happens here when they get resorted.
And even though he does, he had to tow to pit, so that is going to do it for him. Even with the fast repair, he's going to be there for a good 3 minutes for towing, so that's unfortunate as he is going to go multiple laps down. With Sean Brightsman going to be your race leader. Again, I'm a betting man now. I bet everybody's coming down pit road.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt it, but you know who's probably smiling right now? I bet you the 55 of Dan West Jr. is thinking he's got another shot at the win. And it looks like right now we've got Sean in the 46 and the 55 of Dan West are the only two trucks on the lead lap. It looks like Stephen Paulson in the 58 truck is the first lap, one lap down. Looks like he'll get that free pass. And we'll have three trucks on the lead lap, I think.
This could get very interesting. To find out, literally two trucks coming down pit road. So will there be any strategies? There's 19 laps to go. I don't think that's, that may be too many to take two tires. Oh, and Dan West Jr. goes through his pit stall. That's going to cost him time there. So, and the rest assured nothing else happens. It looks like probably the 46 will get out first. And Sean Brightsman does, 14.3 seconds. He's going to come out your race leader.
Yeah, I saw that little hiccup there with the 55, but, fortunately for him, it's a yellow flag right now. It's not going to hurt him too much. With only 2 or 3 trucks on the lead lap, he's going to be right there on the front row, looks like. And I think he's pretty excited right now because I think he was just given that ray of hope, So we'll see if he can outdo the 46 in these final laps. And or we'll see if the 46 has something to hold off the 55.
It'll do indeed. And we'll see. We're going to try to get Sean Brightsman here under caution real fast. Let me get on board with him if we can, as we'll go to his on-board camera real quick and see about pulling him down with us real fast. Sean Brightsman, you got a copy?
Got a copy.
Well, we got you down here in, kind of in the booth radio. You're sitting in first. 55 made a little hiccup there, drove through its pit stall. Were you scared at all he was going to try to get by you there in the pits?
A little bit. I mean, obviously, I'm not really racing the 55, so if he goes out there and wins, it's fine. But I'd like to go out and win the race here and the championship in the same line. So,
definitely, it's been a crazy night here. It ends. The season's going to end pretty much how it's been all season. Not a lot of cautions. We got a couple of cars on the lead lap. You've been out there lapping. We talked about it, so we said you probably had a grin from ear to ear, knowing that you were lapping Ray Fournier and the 13 of Ryan Maines. Does it kind of make you a little happy? You're lapping your biggest competition out there, two of the 4 chase people.
Oh, absolutely. When we did that first green flag pit stop, I was lapping Ryan there. I was ecstatic knowing I took out potentially one more contender for anything that could happen during the race. So anything you can do to try to eliminate some of the competition without wrecking them is always a good thing.
Definitely is. We got about 20 seconds before we go racing here. Chris, got anything for Sean before we let him go?
Well, Sean, you've done a heck of a job tonight. Good racing there. What do you think you got here for the short run for the 55, since it looks like you're racing for the win against him? Unfortunately, Jeff just had a wreck there, and too bad for that. But what do you think you got for the 55 for these remaining laps?
Oh, that's tough, Chris. He's pretty fast. I mean, he's even fast on the long run. I was just able to save my tires there on the green flag stops and green flag runs because I had enough distance. So I'm just going to give it hell and see what we can do.
All right, man. Good luck.
Thank you.
All right, we'll get him back to his team radio, and we are going to get ready to go back to racing. There's going to be 3 drivers on the lead lap. They're going to be Sean Brightsman, Dan West Jr., and Stephen Paulson on the lead lap here for the restart as we go back off the onboard camera and get ready to go green flag racing one more time. 16 laps to go here in the final race. Dan West Jr. looks like he maybe spun the tires just a little bit, and that's not what he wanted to do. But he will hang on to at least third position.
Yeah, he certainly did not want to spin those tires right there. He was probably hoping to get the best start he could, and he's now side by side with the 58 truck, and that's leaving a clear view for the 46, which is what Sean wants. We'll see if 55 of Dan West can reel him in here as the laps are winding down.
They are indeed winding down. He does clear the 58, that Jim Beam, number 58 of Stephen Paulson. Jeff Stabnow currently running what would be fourth on the track, but technically 3 laps down in 10th place. But he's got a fast enough truck to be in the top 5. Just not there, obviously, due to him bringing out the caution there and spinning it out. But, Dan West Jr. in that 55, I almost want to see him win it just to wrap up a good season, but it looks like he's fighting a loose truck, and Jeff Stabnow definitely fighting a loose truck.
Yes, the 24 certainly is, and the caution just came back out. I would assume for that 24, looks like he may have spun again. Yep, he did. It hit the wall, and he's got some more damage. It's just been an unfortunate finish for him. I'm sure he's not too happy right now.
Yeah, definitely.
We are under caution again.
Caution is out for the 24 of Jeff Stabnow. We may take a word with him. We may let him cool down before we do that. So while the caution's out, we're going to step aside here for just a moment. And we will be right back here and see if we can get a quick word in with the 24. All right, we are back, and we do have the 24, Jeff Stabnow. Unfortunately, night and a season coming to an end, not the way he wanted to. So it's kind of bittersweet. He does have his teammate out front, but Jeff, obviously you're gonna say it's not the way you wanted it to go, but overall, 33 weeks, the longest season ever here in the series. You can't be disappointed. You're going to get a top 4 finish out of it. It's been a heck of a season for you.
Yeah, well, I'm disappointed. We just kind of let it get away from us there. Coming on that pit stop, I had all kinds of problems getting off pit road. We loosened the truck up a little bit, and we just couldn't grip up coming off the pit road. So we went from 1.3 seconds behind Sean down to 7.5 seconds back. Which then just forced our hand, had to keep trying to loosen the truck up to just, try to just eat some time back. And at the end there, we just got it so loose it wasn't even drivable. And then that very last one just probably being stupid, but I was hoping to drive a lap back since they started me up front. But place guy's racing for third, he isn't going to give it up to a lap car. So I went to drive under, and I just caught that apron with the tires not up to pressure, probably dumb move, and spun it. So just self-inflicted wounds. I thought we had the truck. We might have been just a little bit off pace, but I had plenty of tire left and thought I could kind of adjust to that as the night went on. But blew it on pit road there, and so yeah, there's some disappointment.
Well, definitely, I feel your disappointment after a strong season this season, but I also know don't let it get you down too much. Cheer up, or as chin up as the British say, I believe. You definitely you earned a top 4 here this season. It's been a long but great season, and we won't be talking to you post-race show. Well, we might anyway, but before we wrap up the season anyway. But any quick sponsors and shout out you want to give as a mini Grammy speech?
Oh, just, first of all, quick shout out to the team. We all worked hard this week. A lot of time got put in. I kept joking with Sean. I never seen him run that many laps before a race before, not even close. So it's to be expected that he'd be on point here because he's hard to beat without hardly any practice. This is his track. So, but it was a fun week. We had fun working together, putting the work in. So shout out to the team. Mark for just, taking time that he didn't have to come and try to work my pit box for me today. And, apologies to him that we, the driver screwed it up. I didn't even get a chance to blame the crew chief. So he did a good job. They'll keep my head in it and we took some real big swings that just didn't work, but we didn't really have anything else to do there. So shout out to him. Just a shout out to you, Charles, VRN. This awesome show that you put on, Chris, there for helping you out in the booth tonight, and guys in the league, and just anybody that's watching here tonight, and all the guys we race with. So it takes a lot of people to make this the fun series that it is. So big thanks to all those that are part of it, from drivers to fans and everybody in between.
All right, well, again, unfortunately not ending the way you wanted it to. Last thoughts before we go racing. Don't go anywhere, because I'm sure we'll be talking to you here after the post or during the post show, just to give one last recap and a shout out to everyone that was involved here. So hang tight and don't go nowhere, Mr. League co-owner.
All right, Charles. I make no promises, buddy, but we'll try.
Well, that's good enough for me. We'll get you back up to your race channel. I will have to settle for that. No promises, but, well, at least he said something. Well, that works. So we'll hope he's here when we get back. What is back is the green flag, as we are racing one more time. And a lot of people spinning the tires here. 9 laps to go. Less than 10 to go here in the race. You know, I stand by what I said earlier. Cautions don't breed cautions. Late race cautions breed cautions.
Yeah, we kind of got a gist of that a little bit. The 46 still maintaining the lead. I think the Dan West in the 55 got a better restart that time. He's right there within about 2 to 3 tenths of a second there. So laps are winding down. We'll see if he can get by that 46.
He definitely did, and we got a little, what I thought was going to be some contact back with the 333 of James Vining. But they keep it going in the right direction. That battle for the lead, though, is where we're going to hang tight with, coming up to 7 laps go, 8 laps right now. Dan West Jr. This is perfect case scenario for someone like Dan West Jr., even for Sean Brightsman as well. You can literally drive the tires off this car. You have 8 laps. You don't have to worry about fuel. You don't have to worry about tires. You can literally go nuts trying to get by.
Yeah, there's not enough laps in the remaining portion of this race to worry about too much of a tire fall-off issue. As you can see, Dan's pushing it. He's searching. He's searching for a move, a way to make a move around the 46 truck. He's looking high. He's looking low. Dan's giving it all he's got. He wants to go out on top of this, go out on the season on top, with the win. That way he can carry the momentum. And there he goes. He's looking low. Looks like the 46 of Sean Brexman got loose. Now they are side by side heading into turn 1.
Yeah, and I have a feeling I would be willing to bet. I don't think he handed it to him, but I don't think he fought that as hard as he could. I mean, Sean just said that, if he had to let the 55 by, he would. He's not battling him for the championship. So, obviously, he'd like to get the win, but if it means wrecking versus the championship, he's going to let that 55 go by.
Yeah, and the 55 has officially cleared the 46 and taken over the race lead with just a few laps remaining. The 46 likely is just going to let this go. Maybe take an attempt at it, but it looks like he's loose. Looks like he's got too much of a loose truck right now. And the 55 is starting to gap that. And as I was trying to say earlier, the 55 would love nothing more than to win this race, go out on this season on top, carry that momentum into the off season, and then see what he can do beginning of the next season.
Yeah, he definitely, to win in the off or right before the off season, carry that momentum over. And again, he's led 63 laps here. He has led a ton of laps. Of course, Sean Brightsman pretty much leading the rest of those laps here tonight. So your 2 dominant cars, or trucks in this case, are in 1 and 2 right now. But with 4 laps to go, you see that gap ever widening between the 46 and the 55. I'm with you. I think Sean's truck in that 46 machine just a little bit loose, and I think he's decided to let the 55 go and let him make the mistake. He's not going to try to force one.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's just too late in the race, and there's not enough laps left to build up a long run, which I think Sean would then probably come back and prevail on that. But the shorter run, it looks like his truck's just a little bit too loose. not strong enough to get up there and take out the 55, but the 55 is maintaining a lead. And the laps are ticking down, just a few laps to go. And looks like as of right now, 46 is looking to be the champion of the series for this season. But it's not over till it's over. And Dan West is going to be excited to upset the championship win here.
He definitely is, especially coming off their good finish last week. Sean Brightsman, though, I may stand corrected. He's looking. He is searching. He's got Google Maps out, and he's searching for a way around the 55 of Dan West Jr. So we'll see if he can find the location.
Yeah, he's doing everything he can. Like he said in that caution period there, Sean would certainly like to go out as the champion and the winner of the race here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. We'll see if he can get it done. There's just a few laps to go.
Yeah, we are actually on the white flags out, 1 lap to go. Of course, presented by Northwest Racing Series. They go into turn number 3 and turn number 4. Literally half of a turn, and we go into the straightaway. And it's going to be your race winner. It's going to be the 55 of Dan West Jr. that gets the win. But Sean Brightsman are going to be taking home the championship and the shiny trophy. But ever so shiny as well is still going to be the 55. So 2 pieces of hardware going out here tonight.
Yeah, what a fantastic year. All these guys have done very well. Even though Sean Brightsman didn't win the race, he's a heck of a driver for Wicked Chassis Racing, and it's definitely a good feeling to win a championship. And congrats to him on this championship here, and congrats to Dan on the win. Looks like we had 4 trucks final on the lead lap, with Dan taking the win, Sean second, Steve Paulson third, John Ottenbacher in fourth, and Ryan Maines finished in 5th. Not a bad run to finish the year for Ryan.
Definitely not. As we'll watch both do some celebrating here. You can see the 46 in the background. Not sure what kind of donut he was doing there, but we'll go ahead and get rid of that. And we're going to switch over to your champion as he's doing some somewhat celebrating.
He's going backwards down pit road.
So, we'll let him do his championship celebrating, as well as the celebrating from Dan West Jr. as he is parking it in his pit stall. So we'll go over to your champion, and we are going to step away here for just a moment. We will be back here for the post-race show with your top 3 drivers, which will include your champion here in just a moment. And then, of course, we'll have our closing ceremonies as we thank everybody, and we'll let Jeff take care of that if he is still here. So we'll be right back here in just a moment. All right, we are back, ladies and gentlemen, here with the post-race show. And, of course, we have your top 3 in here, starting with 3rd place. That is going to be the 58 of Stephen Paulson. And we believe Chris White has caught up to him. So, Chris, we will toss the mic over to you.
Well, Charles, I certainly have the 58 Steve Paulson taking home 3rd place, podium finish, great run tonight. Steven, how was it? Can you tell us how the truck was tonight?
Truck was going great tonight, and it's really nice to finish this way. I didn't have to well, you weren't there, so that made it a little easier to get a third. And I got to thank Tom for getting the setup all tuned up. I think we were building it with Jeff, of course, and he helped. And then he gave me driving lessons because I was doing it all wrong. So Jeff is responsible for me getting to the end without blowing my tires. And obviously, got to thank Mark Walls and Sean and everybody else that helps put this on.
Yeah. Congratulations on the top three. If you could, real quick, shed some light on how these tires, this new tire model's been for you. I haven't had too much experience with it, so I've got some learning to do, but how's it been for you?
I think it's a little better for me because I don't necessarily have the skill to go 99%, so kind of going 96 or 8%. I tend to be faster towards the end with a lot of people, I think, at the end of runs. And at the end of the season when we're not having a lot of yellows, I was starting to gain because of that. So I think they have a different wear pattern. You can really injure them if you run them hard at the beginning. So I think it adds more, different ways to race, more strategy and such. So I like that.
Yeah, I gotcha. You kind of threw some shout-outs there already. Is there anybody else you'd like to throw a shout-out to before we move on to second place?
Well, let's see. With the help of Jeff getting us started, Frank and Vining and myself and Tom Green have been kind of working on setups all year and practicing. So it helps. I think we're all doing better at the end, and so all of them, we kind of had a pseudo team there, or I guess we have a team. I don't know.
Well, that's the third place driver there, Stephen Paulson in the 58. Congrats on a podium finish and a good finish for the finish of the year. Enjoy the off season, and we'll look forward to next year with you.
Thank you, and thank you for all your help.
No problem. Charles?
All right, of course, coming in second place here tonight is your second place driver, but also your season champion is going to be the 46 of Sean Breitzman. So we will hand the mic over to you, Chris.
Appreciate it, Charles. Sean, congratulations on the championship. Fantastic season. 46 truck there has been strong week in and week out. You've had some good races, good finishes. We all have ups and downs, but you sure finished this one off with the championship. That's what you wanted. It's what we're all going for, but you got it. Congratulations. How was it out there?
It was great. First run had me worried, but it was just a great night. The truck was on rails. That goes into the setup building of Wicked Chassis and Jeff and us throwing down the runs and trying to figure out what's going to work best when we all work together.
Yeah, unfortunate for Jeff there. It looked like he was pushing a little hard towards the end, got loose and wrecked out, and the race came down to you winning the championship and possibly the race there with Dan. It looks like you might not have had enough laps there to make it a long run. It looks like you might have needed a long run. Looks like you were a little loose there. So second place finish, fantastic finish to the year. I know you wanted to win as well, right?
Oh, absolutely. I kind of got back into race mode and forgot what I was racing for, so probably almost wrecked it out of two there when I tried to cut underneath Dan and go for that race win, and said I probably should back it down just a touch, and if I can get by him cleanly without myself losing any control, then let's go for it. But Dan put on a heck of a show. Fast.
No, he certainly is. He's fast. He's getting better and better each week. And all right, congratulations on the championship. Heck of a year. Any shout-outs and sponsors you want to throw out there?
Absolutely. I got to shout out Walls Beard Co., Virtual Racing Network, Central Welding Supply, everybody on Wicked Chassis, Jeff for all the hours he puts in building setups for the whole series, and then as well as for our team when we can't always make it to do that or choose not to. Jeff really enjoys that, and I getting ready here for Homestead, I actually enjoyed kind of working on the setup with him and everything like that, so it was a lot of fun. And then really, like I said, just everybody in the Northwest Racing Series. I can't wait till we decide what we're going to do in the next few weeks and for next season, and look forward to racing with everyone again.
Oh, certainly. I'm sure everybody's looking forward to this break and regrouping for next year. Congratulations again. That was the 46 of Sean Breitzman for Wicked Chassis Racing. That was your Season 6 champion. Charles, I think you've caught up with the 55, Dan West Jr., your race winner.
I have indeed. It's to me they're penalizing me. He drove backwards down pit road, but who cares? He's the race winner. He can do what he wants, right? So, Dan, you end the season with a bang here. You know, we knew you were fast. We obviously deemed you Rocket Man Dan for a reason. You came here and you showed these boys how it was done. You're sitting in victory lane. So I got a question for you. What's more impressive about victory lane here? Is it the trophy girls or the chicken dinner?
The chicken dinner.
That's my kind of driver right there. Forget the trophy girls. We want some chicken dinner. But again, a fantastic run here for you. I believe you led like 65, 66 laps, something like that. You led a ton of laps, almost to the halfway point. You know, we saw there while you went through your pit stall. When you had that happened on pit road, did you think your night was over, or did you just think, I got to push it even harder now?
Well, I went down and I kind of short pitted there towards the end because I didn't really have anything for Sean. I just kept getting tight, and so I kept freeing it up all night long. And when I went in, I forgot to check the boxes for tires. So I pulled in, and nobody was putting tires on the car, and I realized I needed to check some boxes. So that put me behind about 13 seconds, I believe.
Well, that would explain the 27-second stop. We were wondering what happened on the pit road. But just a great night here. You know, we talk about getting a win here at the end. How much momentum, really the whole second half of the season, you have been on a tear, just leading laps, getting in the top three, getting good finishes, getting poles. But to end the season here with the win, how much momentum is that going to give you going into next season?
Well, I think it obviously is going to help. The whole season has taught me a lot. I mean, racing against Sean and Jeff and Chris and James and John and all them guys out there, as everybody can see, they're getting faster race after race. And, you're only as good as the guys you race with. And they've taught me, like Sean has taught me patience, and Jeff has helped me with setups. And, it's and just learning to, pit stops are huge. You make a mistake on pit stops, and then if it wasn't for the caution, then Sean definitely had this race won. So I had more of a short run car or truck, and he definitely had the better setup and for a longer run. So as far as going to next year, we'll see what happens, and I think it's definitely gonna, after getting the season under my belt, it'll definitely be a little easier for me.
Definitely, we look forward to seeing what is in store for you here next season in the series. That being said, any shout-outs, any sponsors you need to thank for this season and for this victory here tonight?
Oh, man, I just congratulate Sean. I know he drove his butt off tonight. It was a long race, I felt like. I don't know, maybe it's because I was behind the 8-ball most of the time, but congratulations to him. In the top four, the guys that made it into the possibility of the championship. So, Jeff, congratulations on second, buddy, and Mark Walls and VRN, Cody, to you. I appreciate your always being here.
Definitely, we are glad to be here week in and week out. That being said, there's one last person we want to talk to here. He's got his mic muted, but I'm sure he'll know who he is and unmute his mic here in the next second or so, Jeff. But, didn't have the finish he wanted, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to let him do his thing. We'll cue the Grammy music. There are a lot of people that make all of this happen, and this is, the final sign-off for at least a week or two before we come back on a Thursday night. So, Jeff, we'll hand it over to you for the thank yous and all that good stuff.
All right, Charles, thanks. Hard to believe we didn't get them all there on the other two, but first of all, big congrats to my teammate there, Sean. Sorry I made it so hard on you there at the end, buddy, but it was checkers or records. I was going down swinging. And big congratulations to Dan West, man. You're so dang fast, and the improvement you've had this year has just been phenomenal. So we're gonna have to kick you out of this league next year. Thanks to Stephen Paulson for the shout out there and his team. These guys are here every Saturday. I work with them every Saturday, and watching these guys, James Vining, Frank Harris, Tom Green, Stephen Paulson get better every week. Just so fun. So and then everybody else in the league. I mean, we get along. We have fun. We do this for fun. A lot of us live in the same general vicinity, and guys get along. So it's a great league. It's a fun time. People put in the work, and for the most part, I was really the only idiot out there tonight. So we usually have pretty clean racing unless I'm swinging for the fences. But I think that's the biggest thing. Mark Walls Beard Cove for putting this thing on, Charles, you, and all the hard work you do all season. 33 races in this league, 33 races in our other league. That's 66 races, and then all the practices you show up for, and all the prep work you do trying to figure out what's happening in the race and all that. You're here just as much as anybody. You're part of the family, so we love you for that, man. And then, the admins and the drivers committee put in just so much work. John and Ray Fournier and Corey and Chris here in the booth. We only call them when stuff's going wrong, right? So we only put them to work when bad decisions have to be made or judgments that nobody wants to make have to be made. So and to their credit, they do an outstanding job. And Chris with he does race posters and write-ups after the races. Sean too. I mean, these guys, the work goes on long after what you see on the track around that. So big shout out to them. Sean, as the admin here, he gets double duty on crap jobs and thankless jobs. So big shout out to him. John Ottenbacher, I think I missed him on the driver's meet. Gosh, he's on my team. And, he helps out there. So, and then anybody that's out there watching, I know Mama Stabnow watches every race. She deserves a big shout out. Mark Walls came here to help me out tonight. So big shout out to him. And, I think that's all I got unless we unless I go break into my notes, Charles. No,
we will let you keep your notes all locked up under a chain and key or wherever they're at. But all jokes aside, well, we still got more jokes, but still, it's been a great season. They keep me around. Really, I stay around because they feed me chicken wings, but still. That being said, we're done here tonight. That will do it for this season. We will be back, a date unknown, but when we do come back, it will be in some great racing. I don't even know where I was going with that, but great racing coming up again next season. So make sure you come back for season 4 and season 7, Xfinity and trucks. Until then, have a great rest of your night.